Canada, kukonung gitawa sinon. Gito ko na wakomi mo pina ni mo te kaspinan ni te ko poyi. Pianiti wa o Canada, tawakati pinan, istipetapi, eskatsit, o Canada, tawakati pinan. O Canada, tawakati pinan.
Okay. Ketronakse matsum. Read you all for all of you guys. And I appreciate being called to come. And I have great honors for these veterans. Yes, I had a brother, my uncle, and his brother, my dad. They were brothers. And I was raised by both of them. And they know what a victory is. They were there. And that's what I gather from them. It was a victory up to date. The victory of peace for this country. That was the biggest honor thing. Why we here? Because of their courage to go for peace on this part of the country. And surprisingly, the other day, I was thinking about them, that they came to have the honor on my front lawn to put their pictures and all the grandchildren to come and see. Just the grown-up grandchildren. And I wouldn't allow young kids. It's going to only take a few minutes to do it, to honor them. And I'll have the descendants from that First World War, they're called tall people. So those tall people will come and sing the honor songs of their uncles and grandfathers. Well, that's why I'm going to have it there. And after this honor song, the 2-minute silence, and we'll take the wreaths out to the graveyard, as we do here. And that'll be it. It's not going to be long. There won't be that many speakers. We just honor them for 2 minutes, and that's why I'm having it in front yard over here. And I encourage you to continue with this, because we never know, and I don't know if I have a timeline. Being pushing 90, that's kind of hard. In fact, my memories are getting short because I'm losing some of the things that I know. Start telling the stories about myself, what happened back there. Sometimes I got a hard time to communicate with my wife. So I'm at the point, I might be in a crazy house or whatever. That's the way it looks. But if I'm in there, don't call me to come back. So I encourage you to really work on this epidemic. That's my biggest issue. I have a spray there, I forgot to bring it, to use that. And as the old lady said, it's just like invisible cloud. You don't know if it's in front of you, you're breathing it. Said you had to be careful. Said the only solution, have water. That'll help. So that's what I had. This morning I was testing it, and for the second time, first time I threw loose flour up in the air, and I hit it with that spray. It disappeared. And this morning I told my wife, give me that spray. I smoke away smoke. He sprayed, I think, killed it. That little spray. It's just like a mess. So that's the only way you can protect yourself from it. So it was spoken of it. When I first heard about it in 1960, an old lady lived by the dam. And this guy went and visited her. After they got through eating, he says, son, I'll tell you a secret. Remember, tell the people in the future. She was around 90 years old. And she says, my grandmother told me there'd be a cloud, invisible cloud. You inbreathe it and you get choked and it will kill you. And everybody laughed. When I said invisible cloud, like this virus we had, and one guy said, how can it be that strong to choke us? Does it do it now? I have a nephew, he's just coming out, he's been there for a month. He had pneumonia and he got his shots, but he's coming out in about another week. He was put to sleep for 2 weeks. He's coming back to his sense again. So that's why I'm saying now we have a great battle, but this is another battle, world over. So as they say, my aunt and old people just say, the only way is pray and smudge. If you want something, pray. I was taught about it when I was in the society. The old guy said, that's the only protection is your smudge. And one time, I was going to open up a meeting there. I started praying. The old lady said, hey, that's enough. You're here just to talk to the wall. You were given this to use before you talk. So I was shamed in front of everybody, and I didn't have one. She brought me one. Smudge before you talk. You bless everybody, you bless the building. It says, you've been in there for a long, long time. I was with them, but they're older. I guess that's the third round being there. And I said, I know you work hard to get this much. With that, I just want to advise you, this is the time to be kind to one another. I see that in the wakes and things. Oh, some of them, He said, he's my best friend. And the other time, the other one said, I'm sorry, we had a big fight a little while ago. No, I'm sorry. You can't forgive. Says you can, forgiveness is just a word. It's to actually associate right to the end. These are some of the things I went through, like her grandmother, grandfather, they were my teachers. Strict, really strict. See, I said, you're not supposed to be there. Hey, don't do that. We didn't know. Why did you join? Yeah. She gets really ashamed. So we behaved ourselves. We were just like little kids, you know, trying to learn our way of life. And I'm glad that you guys coming here to find out where we're at with this victory. It's over 100 years ago, the victory. To continue to celebrate. I have a grandson. He was at Afghanistan 3 times. Now, I don't know if anybody knows him. Mr. Mason out there, he came and he salute at him. He said, you do that to my grandson? He said, he's a sergeant now, I have to salute. Preston. And the other great granddaughter of his, my dad, she was in a desert storm in U.S. Marine. And she'll be coming to this gathering on next week. Talking to her, I asked her if she's got an American flag. I said, if you don't have one, I'll make you one. So she's going to be here. So after this is very important for them, you know. Now, my grandson used to say, he was telling me, gee, Grandpa, I still smell what I got over there in Afghanistan. I still see the bits of bodies when they get exploded. He says, one time I was walking there, part of a hand was on my way. He says, it's pretty hard to forget. I says, but you've gone through it. But this I'm going to start to pray, and you pray alongside of me. I'll do all the best I can to help. This is a very short time for me. Yesterday, the other day I was in Calgary for the same gathering. At Glen Museum, they want me over there. And I was tired. Yesterday we went to Lethbridge. I slept all the way and come back. So today I thought I'll be happy. This afternoon I'm going to put up the flags till the next week. So with that I need your help, and I know what of you. I know your dad, we play hockey. Yeah. My ancestors never forget. I just put this. This was given to me by an elder. I can't give it away, but it's mine. You know what is the Saukas? I got it from an old guy. He said, you did the right thing for me. I haven't given it away now. I went through the sermon again. That's the only one I have. So that's what I pray with it. Make sure everything's okay. And okay, now, I now, Iraka Bernat Satakan Christi Koika. Oh, can the market took a nochpinna? Ah, Kochis, just a car, so Anika Yamato Simas. Oh, Kinab. Ah, we get quite a face. I doch sano. Doch token nana. Doch tikim nana. I get a cakes to go. Kimma pita. Oh, Kahana Sukapi. Ako kuisisto na pimokawa. Stunna tohtako. Ai, kimmato. Ai, kukanistiva. Oh, kehkokoot. Okay, naap. Aiokni kaki kita kattaa penaan sataakennoksisesti koikkaaki. Aioni kaki koos tässä ja johkohpi. Kohtaaks kadei sapahtuvuhpiaki. Ookeni jääki ota kosiiki matsi tää sapahtuvaak. Aiva kokit kuissukaa pissaak. Vohkaukaksit kiitsii pukeuaak. Lohtaa pakkui pinnaana. Ookan nuo taapih pinnaanaakin. Aion ohkit hanaka mutahpinaanaak. Oomiakin naatuiskahkui. Anikaakin nokitäitsikin muhpinaanaak. Kahkokitaa jissaan opaksinaan. Anikaakin nohtai taapihpinaan. Aiokin ohkaa puuttumaakis kohtikaak. Anikaakin nakaak uhkinaavakaak. Aiovakui aapiaakin ja putskinaak mukaakin. Ooki kuttu ja maniksistaaki. Ainakaan uhkinaavakaakki siksi podissakkinaanaak. Sitä ovat se piispinaan. Oukanniksi tohtaa jääkoupoukau. Aina eikä kohtsapaa puhuakaan. Hänestäkaakin kitsi jääksi mukpinnaan. Oukannista kaikki muhkinaavakaakki taapaissannukina. Oukannakaakin kipitaakin jääkin suutaakin ja ääniksaakin. Itse en ole kitään otspua. Äkänääkin. Saatskaakin jo. Ainakin sitä paina panspainoustum. Häikin sitä peikkuissanen nukpinaanaak. Oukannaakin no teitä uhtitaapi. Aio maatika kannasta siitä kväni taakannasta passaak. Oukanikai kohatsepi vaatuhvaak. Änikaakin stuiikaak. Oukana kohatsits popokitaak. Änikaakin suhtikaaki. Nakohatsi tuhsaak. Ooke vuotuini vaasi nukuusiksaak. Ooke liiksaaki nissukuusik. Kadaista pohkana vakkaa motsiiksaak. Ihkanakkaa tsiiksaak. Äidikaakin nuhtu tuhpeak. Äidäikä kohkaa ikaakin vatea. Vahkaikin motsiissa. Mahaatista pituutsiissa. Ooke naapi. Aio naapia. Äidikaakin tuvatskahtuumiksi suostuvaa. Ei tsoukko muukinnaanaak. Hän on tahtsikristu kaapihpinnaanaak. Ei saahtis takaisin ihkistona tauhkaatsis. Äidikaakin onhan syntikat. Ookeavuksi itä piiviksä. Äidikaakin taapäitsiissä tuomiavaak. Äidikaakin kädekkahkaanaapii niin päätäpiissä. Äidikaakin uutapiissä nakaak. Äidikaakin nohaitapa mistiissuakaan. Liksi kanatkaatsi. Keliksi vuotuukiksi. Äidikaakin kakuhituvuudesta ohkanitapi vaatspina. Äidikaakin uhkinaavakaan. Auhaikitsi kohpskekpinaa naama tuusimaan. Ookaama tuusimaan naksi kohku omanistaskona taavi. Ookan nuo naapi ois. Ahkaiksi kaapivaa. Aksa teksti panoka pi a. Aksika koa watsepi o kinana vaksi psik. O kina ditse David nana. Ana ki chata me pi o kina. O ka muksena me tapotaki. O ka stuksi tapik si taisukina. O ka stukso kina koi. Ai o de hoat o istotumus. Adi katsubatte di kaki no kayok. No kochit stokatsa. O kadamaki tapispil. No kosen na niks nisma kosen na. Na kochati tamas toe mepen. Tedo hati taksikka I kode kaspina. Matovi konsk. Adika kivat saptu vaki naap. No hati to tuksi konsk. O kadaka diksaske vokoika. Na kochati tapas. Otskoi kaspina. Nahki taamattaasi sapo kaatohpenna. Hänikaa kennekaan taapäänsikas. Oo, kennikaakin seppuma. Häniksestäks meinikkististäks vaikka kauhkaats. Naksaistista tuo. Aksiksi kaapi nouksahkojaan. Aikisiksi tuohpina naapi. Annomaakin kisitsi pohtoukipin. Nohkomannista aina suvaa. Oo, kina kippi taamna. Koko vekis. Anikaki kohtas abstach koko ikak. Anikaki kahki tahpuko te seoksi kinapim. Anikaki nohtas pomokina anakaisi piapaa mahkaavakaan. Anikaki kanapi ikak jakohanaiksikkaan. Oo, kina koki tuottuhpina. Anikaki kahkaan. Oo, nyt hanas. Katsomatta ainakaan uhkinääksään, ainakaan niitä pastimiak noustuminna. Ainakaan tapaajaksi mukinnaan. Ainakaan tapaajapuumuukinnaan. Ooki kahkaa johtuukin puhavaa. Ooki uhkinäävää. Niistä vaikka kaakai puhatuvuhvaa. Kiistä anniksää kitskona taapsuvaa. Ooki kaakaan sitä vatsepiukin. Teistä kaikki kaakaa pohtumukua. Kaakaiset joita pisnä nakitohtuissa. Kiistoas kaikki siipuuksi. Oo, kehka näikka, mutta kiitaamaisessa puukaatohpista. Oo, kädikään iskodata viikistä seistumus. Asoksi pokaemuukin. Ähkokiksesta kui pokaeva. Hänekaan sitä pohsiska. Oo, kiitaamaim. Sopukita piivaaseni nämä piivaus.
Okay, Gana. Okay, Nikshokwa. I would like to welcome you to this year's commemoration of Remembrance Day. Due to COVID safety measures currently in place, this will be a virtual event again. I wish to acknowledge and thank all the brave men and women who have fought courageously over the years in the various wars and conflicts, so we may live in peace, that world order may be preserved, and our children can grow up in a safe and secure environment. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank all the families of our veterans who have worked tirelessly over the years to ensure that we never forget the sacrifices made by their loved ones. Blood Tribe members did not hesitate to volunteer to serve in World War I, World War II, the Korean conflict, the Vietnam War, and more recently the Gulf War, Iraq, and Afghanistan. The warrior spirit of our people has sustained us throughout our history. Our people are never afraid to stand up and to defend the elders and the children when necessary. Canada and its allies have benefited from the commitment, the courage, and the wisdom of our people in the face of adversity. Warriors as veterans are a key part of our ceremonies and continue to have relevance today. Our young people continue to aspire to serve that role. I'd like to thank and wish the community well and acknowledge the tribal members we have lost over the past year and a half due to the health and other challenges we are facing. I have faith we will get past this and we will once again be able to gather to support each other and celebrate other important events. I thank the staff of Tribal Government and Communications for all their good work in ensuring our community is able to commemorate Remembrance Day despite the challenges. I thank our elders for the prayer, my fellow committee members, and the drummers for making this event happen. Again, thank you on behalf of Chief and Council for tuning in, and enjoy your day, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Oki Gana. The Blackfoot have a long history of traditional and contemporary warriors going into battle with the common foresight of protecting our people. Each of our clans had warriors who faced common enemies with the determination and courage ensuring our safety. The contemporary warriors of today served their countries in world wars and global conflicts with the same fierceness and determination of our ancestors. Each year, many countries around the world commemorate the soldiers who fought and died for the freedom we should never take for granted. We wear this poppy, a symbol denoting the struggles in countless wars by men and women, many of whom gave the ultimate sacrifice, their lives, so that we would live our lives in peace. Today, we honor and celebrate the bravery of our soldiers, our warriors, whose lives will live on in memory. Respect, reflect, and remember always. I take this time to also acknowledge our history, our ancestors, elders, societies, Chief Makinima and Council, to the staff, founders of this recognition service, to Ghana, and to the youth, our future. I would like to also take this time to acknowledge Dr. Lena Russell for her translation of In Flanders Field in honor of our Ptsd veterans. Be safe and in remembrance, Nistokok Ito Mindimaki, Maria Russell.
Hoki nitsukwa, nistonako kea kayamtsinima. O gitkunäätsimatsam paakan artistikuihka. Hoki nidokan nitsuka piahkeitsi puyusia. Hoki tsukai ka kima akumanista ayuhtsi muhka kitsi puusin. Uno katsitan artistikuihka kiamatsi setapitsak. Hani tsedagoksi puuksi satayakaki. Apaikahki minnamaya. Amuhka kitsiskin nonin sanitski itaahko tsiitsaakaki. Aksa peippuju saakaki. Hokidat saa piippu. Hello everyone. My name is Travis Plaited Hair. I'm honored to be asked to share in this message today in Remembrance Day to all of our veterans, not only those from the Blood Tribe, but all First Nations throughout North America, and anyone that served in the world wars and other conflicts over the years. I personally have a couple uncles that served in the Second World War, late Horace Cornell and my uncle Andy standing alone. And there are others, as we all have relatives that served in some of the conflicts. I would like to direct my message this morning, today, to all of our youth and our young people, which is why I chose to speak in English. I wanted to encourage all of you to seek and learn as much as you can about our veterans. It's very important because they served not only us, but all of Canada United States for that matter. And we're always proud of them. I was always raised to respect our veterans, and we hold them in very high regard within our societies and within our ceremonies. There are certain jobs where in ceremony where it's only a veteran, someone who has actually served, can perform those type of ceremonies. I've been involved in with the societies for a few years, and in my tenure, I was very fortunate, and I guess it was a godsend in some way. Nitaka Kenny Fox, he served in Afghanistan. I think he did 2 terms there. And when he approached me to be a partner, I didn't know he had served. It was only after we were transferred that he told me that he was a veteran. So I was very honored, and I felt that I think he was the very first partner that was an active who actively served in war. So he would often, and still is, asked to participate in naming ceremonies and others. There's one particular ceremony that they do where in the past we've had to borrow from Amskapipikani, some of their veterans. But when we had to do that ceremony, it was a real honor to have one of our own, a young man like Kenny, perform that ceremony for us. So it's extremely important, and my message to all of you today is take the time to ask questions to your family and get to learn not only who the veterans are within your own family, but also throughout Indian country. You have an opportunity to hear some really awesome stories, and use those and carry them on and share those stories so that we never forget. They served us, and it's up to us to keep their memory alive. As my father, I just learned yesterday at the Gunbow Museum, said, for eternity. So I don't know where he got that from, but anyways, thank you for listening, and to all of our veterans who are out there, I hope you have an awesome day today. And to all of our families and especially our young people, Ikakimak.
Hoki Naksukwa na Otapis and Nastuanako Binakuyim, seen from afar. Today we honor our warriors. We honor their bravery. We honor their valor in service of our country and our tribe. Canada should not forget the sacrifices our blood warriors and our Blackfoot warriors have made for the life we enjoy today. We have always been warriors. Although many things have changed in battle, many things remain. We fight for our people, our lands, and our future. We do not belong to the Queen, we belong to the land. Our warriors took to the air, and they mastered the sky. Our warriors took to the water, and they mastered the seas. Our warriors took to the ground, and they mastered the land. Their story should be told, and we thank you for your service and for your bravery, for your sacrifice for the things we enjoy today. They fight for our people on those distant battlefields, on that foreign ground, and they did not waver, and they did not hesitate. Remember our warriors, speak their name, and tell their story. Kian.
Hoki niksuk, nistuan nakok neetok tapinamak. Ninnun espikins-saki, niksistinun streetsman. Hello, my name is Mike Oka. I'm the son of Mike and Mary Louise Oka, my siblings. And we have mixed emotions during this time. November the 11th is a very special day for all veterans' families, for all people that are involved in this gathering, the original group that started this, for the veterans to be recognized on reserve. They had nowhere to go previously, and they worked very hard, very humbly to get it going. They did, and it's gone and evolved to the point now we're doing things virtually, unfortunately, because of the COVID situation. Our father, Mike Oka, was wounded in action on the Hitler line. And he would not talk about what they had gone through. I heard him discuss a few stories with other veterans over time. I was very young, and that's the way it was. I think it bothered them so much that they didn't want to rehash everything that they had gone through. One story he did tell was that he was going from foxhole to foxhole as they were advancing. Heavy fire, artillery fire as well, and he dove into one of these foxholes. Right behind him, nakinapik, when a white fella jumped in after him. They were hiding in there, and the white guy told him, "Mike, take these rosary. You'll make it back home." Handed him the rosary beads, and the white guy left, never saw him again. He didn't even know who this man was, but he brought those rosary beads back home, and he was very faithful to the Catholic Church. And we have to remember how proud these men were, all of them, women now, and we carry ourselves in a good way for people to see us that way, to remember how proud those men were during their time here on earth. Many of them have gone on. We just have the younger ones left with us today. And it's really difficult for my family in that my father was a veteran. Our mother, Mary Louise Oka, was very instrumental in getting this Remembrance Day celebration going for the Blood Reserve. And she made it to November the 11th at 11 a.m. on the day. And so it's a mixed emotion day for us. We are sad, we are happy, we are proud. And the pride takes over instead of the grief that we go through, right? So we continue to carry on, and hopefully this ceremony will go for many, many more years. And I think that's it from our Oka family to all of you that are going to be on this, to the rest of the veterans' families, and the organizers, Tribal Government Committee, Chief and Council. We thank you very much for allowing this to happen. Thank you. Hun.
Honoring our warriors and our veterans. In honor of our traditional warriors of the past who preserved and protected the integrity of Ghana. Spotted calf, bullback fat, 2 sons, black bear, seen from afar. Bad head, red crow, thunder chief, crop-eared wolf, sing-back sun, 3 bears, weasel horse, medicine shield, running rabbit, rough hare, flying white buffalo, kit fox, sheep old man. Shot on both sides, father of many children, medicine calf, Blackfeet old woman, big snake, medicine sun, big plum, white wolf rainy chief, middle painted lodge, sun old man, bull shakes his tail, iron shirt, calf shirt, insect wild ear, 3 guns, heavy forehead, running coyote, calf robe. One spot, high sun, red old man, eagle ribs, martin, gambler, black plum, big wolf, good striker, striped wolf, white calf, eagle head, many spotted horses, running sun, heavy shield, many mules, small eyes, weasel tail, low horn, berry eater, many swan, sitting bull, tall man, crazy crow, eagle child, little crow, old moon, prairie chicken, old man, cross child, wolf plum, black forehead, calling last, long time squirrel, black horse rider. Past chiefs, warriors of Ghana. Voice, Mike Oka Jr., Blackfoot spelling, Leo Fox.
Okay, next week, amiksikak ninnaaksis kohtsika tanikko nakuksi inskatsaw. Amo matumohtanstaw a bull backpack. Stamiksusak. Ikatsatam. Kennakok, seen from afar, be nakuyim. Kennakok, red crow, me gatestu. Kennak, crop-eared wolf, makuyupistuki. Shot both sides. Atsu Dao. Thunder Chief, Xistikumina, father of many children, Matnistukus, medicine cat, Natunstas, one spot, Nitakis Tipim, eagle ribs, Pitochpikis, many spotted horses, Akakis Tipim, Hun. That's what we have for you today. Thank you.
Honoring the Ghana Blood Tribe war veterans who served voluntarily to ensure our safety and world peace, World War I and World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, Gulf War, War in Afghanistan, and the Iraq War. World War I, date 1916, 191st Battalion, Canadian Expeditionary Force, Fort Macleod, Alberta. World War I, blood recruits, 191st Battalion, Canadian Expeditionary Force, Fort Macleod, Alberta, 1916. Left to right, back row. George Cummings singer, died overseas, 1919. Joe Crow Chief, Dave Mills, George Stranglin Wolf, Mike Fox Head, Blackfoot, died overseas, 1917. Left to right, front row. Nick King, Harold Chief Moon, Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Brian, Joe Mountain Horse, Mike Mountain Horse. World War I, blood recruits, 191st Battalion, Canadian Expeditionary Force, Fort Macleod, Alberta, 1916. Harold Chief Moon. Harold Chief Moon captured several German soldiers hiding in a building who were retreating, trying to get back to their camp. Orders were shoot on sight. He spared their lives by capturing at gunpoint. Troops stormed a building only to find themselves being gassed. He barely got his mask on while others did not have time. They died from the fumes. He was affected by this altercation and had trouble with his lungs when he returned home. He was a patient at Colonel Belcher Hospital in Calgary. Private George Cummings Singer. Private George Cummings Singer enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 6th of September 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and died overseas of illness on the 14th of January 1919. Private George Cummings Singer. Private George Cummings Singer, burial information, cemetery, Lenhan Cemetery, Kent, United Kingdom, grave reference, 222nd B. Private George Cummings Singer commemorated on page 531 of the First World War Book of Remembrance. Private Joseph Crow Chief. Private Joseph Crow Chief enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 15th of July 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, was honorably discharged on the 4th of April 1919. Private Nicholas King. Private Nicholas King enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 24th of June 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged on the 9th of June 1919. Nick King of the Blood Reserve in the one-horn headdress he took overseas in the First World War, the Glenbow Archives. Private Nicholas King. Nicholas King receiving medal in Fort Macleod, Alberta. Reproduced with the permission of the Fort Macleod Historical Association. Private Nicholas King. Nicholas King receiving medal in Fort Macleod, Alberta. Reproduced with the permission of the Fort Macleod Historical Association. Private Joe Crow Chief and his brother Nick King. Date 1918. The two men were brothers, one in military uniform, near Fort Macleod, Alberta. Driver Albert Mountain Horse. Driver Albert Mountain Horse enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 23rd of September 1914, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged the 4th of November 1915. He died of illness on the 19th of November 1915. Driver Albert Mountain Horse, the only member of the Blood Nation to serve at the front during World War I, was buried in a military funeral at Fort Macleod, Alberta, the 27th of November 1915. Although Canada's native peoples were exempt from compulsory military service, Mountain Horse was one of the first to volunteer after war was declared. He was sent to France, where he was gassed at the Battle of Ypres, developing complications which resulted in his death. Driver Albert Mountain Horse. Albert Mountain Horse. Private Joseph Mountain Horse. Private Joseph Mountain Horse enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 15th of July 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged on the 1st of May 1919. Private Mike Mountain Horse. Private Mike Mountain Horse, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 23rd of May, 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged the 17th of May, 1919. Mike Mountain Horse. Private Maurice Prairie Hen. Private Maurice Prairie Hen, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 2nd of February 1917, served in Canada and Britain, and was honorably discharged the 18th of July 1919. Private George Stranglin Wolfe. Private George Stranglin Wolfe, enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force on the 26th of June 1916, served in Canada, Britain, and France, and was honorably discharged the 8th of February 1918. World War II. Maggie Badarm, U.S. Armed Forces. Gunner Edward Ted Brave Rock. Gunner Edward Brave Rock, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 3rd of July 1940, served in Canada and Britain, and was honorably discharged the 25th of January 1944. Edward Marcus Ted Brave Rock. He enlisted in the Army in 1939, where he was sent to Shiloh, Manitoba for his commando training. From there he embarked for Halifax, Nova Scotia, overseas to England in 1940. He was stationed at London. He was promoted to Lance Corporal and served under the Lanark and Renfrew Regiment, Scottish Regiment. Ted fought in many battles and took part in the liberation of Rome. Roles in the military included being an MP. Ted was injured in a shell shock and became hospitalized. He sailed from Liverpool back to Canada on October 22, 1943. Gunner William Creighton. Gunner William Creighton, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 10th of January 1942, served in Canada, Britain, and Northwest Europe, and was honorably discharged the 3rd of July 1945. Private Patrick Eagle Child. Private Patrick Eagle Child, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 8th of February 1943, and served in Canada, Britain, and Central Mediterranean area, and Northwest Europe, and was honorably discharged the 12th of March 1946. Patrick Eaglechild in the Cadets. Private Patrick Eaglechild. Private Tom Holy Singer. Private Tom Holy Singer, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 17th of January 1942, served in Canada, Britain, and Northwest Europe, and was discharged the 24th of January 1946. Gunner Stephen Mistaken Chief. Stephen Mistaken Chief, World War II veteran. Undermanned, Canadian soldiers battled their way through German troops to rescue British allies who had mistakenly landed behind enemy lines and fought a bitter 5-month battle for survival. Globe and Mail, April 7, 2007. Mistaken Chief 84 was the last surviving veteran of World War II from the Blood Reserve in Alberta, a World War II veteran who spearheaded the fight for equal benefits for Aboriginal soldiers and won. Upon returning home, a war hero in September 1945, Mistaken Chief began his battle for benefits when he learned he did not qualify for the same post-war entitlements as his white comrades. But he was a very forgiving man, recalled journalist Gary Allison, who interviewed Mistaken Chief for a book about Southern Alberta's wartime experience. He knew it was wrong. He was very hurt about it, but he didn't rant and rave about it. He just went about his way and tried to correct it. Mistaken Chief enlisted in the Canadian Army at the age of 17 in 1941. He fought in the Battle of Ortona in Italy, one of the most violent, intense encounters of the war. I felt part of those men back then. Mistaken Chief is quoted in Allison's book, but when I got back home, I found I was an Indian again. Mistaken Chief re-enrolled in high school in 1978 and furthered his education by obtaining a degree in management, graduating at the same time with 2 of his 12 children. Daughter Elfrida Hunt recalls her father as blessed with natural intelligence and an ability to absorb the legal details of child welfare, Indian Act, and criminal law. He was self-taught. He had boxes and boxes of the original Indian Act that he could quote without seeing it, Hunt recalled. Mistaken Chief lobbied the federal government for better Native education and on a variety of human rights issues. He obtained many accomplishments during his life, but to him, education and learning more was always the priority. He held a seat on Blood Tribe Council and assisted with establishing various projects for the Blood Tribe, such as obtaining housing funding and assisting with the construction development. He was a founding member of the Blood Tribe Agricultural Project. He performed intense research for the Blood Tribe Lands Department. He was an active voice for his people and left quite a legacy. Stephen Mistaken Chief was a well-respected elder of the Blood Tribe and will be greatly remembered, lest we forget. Gunner Stephen Mistaken Chief enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 4th of June 1941, served in Canada, Britain, Central Mediterranean area, and Northwest Europe, and was honorably discharged the 29th of September 1945. Cardston, Alberta. A Second World War veteran who fought for equal benefits for Aboriginal soldiers has died in hospital in southern Alberta. Stephen Mistaken Chief, 84, was the last surviving veteran of the war from the Blood Reserve in Alberta. Mistaken Chief, who died Wednesday, enlisted in the Canadian Army at the age of 17 in June 1941 and fought in the Battle of Ortona in Italy, one of the most violent, intense encounters of the war. Gunner Mike Oka Sr. Gunner Mike Oka enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 28th of January 1942, served in Canada, Britain, Central Mediterranean area, and Northwest Europe, and was honorably discharged the 7th of January 1946. Private Horace Quinnell. Private Horace Quinnell enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 3rd of July 1940, served in Canada, Britain, and Central Mediterranean area, and was honorably discharged on 14th of June 1945. Private Andrew Standing Alone. Private Andrew Standing Alone enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 10th of January 1942, served in Canada and was honorably discharged the 28th of June, 1943. Private John Tallow Quinnell. Private John Tallow Quinnell, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 4th of June, 1941, served in Canada, Britain, and Central Mediterranean area, and was honorably discharged on the 3rd of March, 1944. John Tallow Quinnell. Date 1940, before leaving for overseas in Canadian Army. Leading Aircraftman Stephen Wadsworth. Leading Aircraftman Stephen Wadsworth, enlisted in the Royal Canadian Air Force, RCAF, on the 11th of March, 1943, served in Canada and was honorably discharged the 10th of November, 1945. Also re-enlisted in the RCAF, regular on the 29th of September, 1951, served in Canada, died the 11th of September, 1952. Leading Aircraftman Stephen Wadsworth, date 1943, William Wadsworth Sr. and his son, Stephen, an Army recruit. Stephen went overseas and served in Italy. Gunner William Wadsworth. Gunner William Wadsworth, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 10th of December, 1941, served in Canada, Britain, and Central Mediterranean area, and was honorably discharged on the 7th of November, 1944. Gunner Frederick Weaselfat. Gunner Frederick Weaselfat, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 10th of January, 1942, served in Canada and Britain, and was honorably discharged on the 28th of February, 1944. Private Arthur Wells. Private Arthur Wells, enlisted in the Canadian Army, active on the 2nd of January, 1942, served in Canada, Britain, and Northwest Europe, and was discharged on the 11th of October, 1945. Korean War Monument. Private Reginald Crop-Eared Wolf. Private Reginald Crop-Eared Wolf, enlisted in the Canadian Army, regular, on the 7th of June, 1951, served in Canada and the Far East, and was honorably discharged the 7th of June, 1957. Guardsman William Sandy Eagleplum. Guardsman William Sandy Eagleplum, enlisted in the Canadian Army, regular, on the 26th of February, 1952, served in Canada, continental Europe, and the Far East, and was honorably discharged the 30th of May, 1955. Private Gilbert Healy. Private Gilbert Healy, enlisted in the Canadian Army, regular, on the 4th of March, 1954, served in Canada and continental Europe, and was honorably discharged on the 26th of November, 1957. Private Gilbert Healy served as a private with the Princess Patricia Canadian Light Infantry from March 1954 to November 1957. His service number was SM 10361. Guardsman Ray Manychief. Date 1940 to 1945. Raymond Manychief, in Canadian uniform, served with the 49th Battalion, Edmonton, Alberta. Guardsman Ray Manychief, enlisted in the Canadian Army, regular, on the 10th of March, 1952, served in Canada and continental Europe, and was honorably discharged the 31st of March, 1955. Vietnam War. Lance Corporal Jeffrey Bullshields. Cecil Holy White Man. Cecil Holy White Man, Bremerton, Washington, Holy White Man Family Cemetery, Standoff, Alberta, TOL1YO, Bremerton, Washington, 98337, grave location, birth, May 21st, 1946, death, January 22nd, 2006, age 59, branch, U.S. Marine Corps, war, Vietnam. Private Alvin Manychief, February 14, 1973 to October 3, 1973. Lance Corporal Joseph Prairie Hen. Lance Corporal Joseph Prairie Hen. Recent conflicts. Sergeant Preston Crow Chief. The 20th Independent Field Battery, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Son of Calvin Crow Chief and Geraldine Slay. Bombardier Keisha Potts. Bombardier Keisha Potts, 20th Independent Field Battery, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Bombardier Keisha Potts, daughter of Angela Whitegrass Potts. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass, 20th Independent Field Battery, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass, daughter of Angela Whitegrass Potts. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass, February 16, 2012, a special honor for a local soldier who went above and beyond the call of duty during a tour in Afghanistan. She was part of a NATO convoy in Kabul that day when a suicide bomber detonated an improvised explosive device. She helped recover the bodies of 6 soldiers killed in the blast, and at the same time assisted other injured soldiers and provided security, all while being badly hurt herself. Ptsd. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass. Corporal Ray Manychief, Construction Engineer Squadron, Maintenance CFB, Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada. Corporal Ray Manychief, son of Pierre and Carol Manychief. Private Kendrick Fox, Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry, CFB, Shiloh, Manitoba, Canada. Private Kendrick Fox, son of Clark and Annette Brewsted. Corporal John Davis, Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Corporal John Davis, son of Wesley and Janine Davis. Sergeant Jonathan Bruce Fox, United States Army. Sergeant Jonathan Bruce Fox, son of Lambert and Yvonne Fox. Specialist Charles Gladstone, United States Army. Specialist Charles Gladstone, son of Ivan Singer and Rowena Gladstone. Private Tricia Willows, United States Army. Private Tricia Willows, daughter of Patrick Crow Chief and Maxine Bighead. Lance Corporal Jamie Robert J.R. Fox, United States Marines. Lance Corporal Jamie Robert J.R. Fox, son of Lambert Fox and Yvonne Fox. Corporal Deborah Craig Ironshirt, United States Marines. Corporal Deborah Craig Ironshirt, son of Bessie Ironshirt. Jose Manybears, United States Marines. Jose Manybears, son of Rosella Manybears. Alex Mills, no information at this time. Corby Scout, Corby Scout, son of Barbara Scout. Sheldon Scout, Sheldon Scout, son of Barbara Scout. Petty Officer 2nd Airman Jonathan Manybears, United States Navy. Petty Officer 2nd Airman Jonathan Manybears, son of Bruno and Corinne Manybears.
Okay, Nikshokwa Gana. Anokak Madagitsu Atsuka Gakitukanipstu see for November the 11th. Anokagyamoy Manististum Sini Anyaye Madakutsu Atsuka. we're going to be doing a virtual message to the blood tribe to ensure that we continue to commemorate the November the 11th ceremonies that we've had since 1994. At that time, with the assistance of a chief and council, and Maginima happened to be the chief at that time, we had approached chief and council on behalf of the remaining veterans from World War II and the other veterans from the ensuing wars, if they would be able to support the veterans to commemorate November the 11th. Historically, all of our veterans that were still with us at that time never had an opportunity to have a place to gather, to be able to remember and continue to celebrate the November the 11th ceremonies like their mainstream colleagues were able to do by gathering at the legions. And it was with this idea, this notion, that we approached Chief and Council on behalf of the veterans, on behalf of the widows of the veterans. And Chief and Council wholeheartedly supported it. So since 1994 to today, with this year, it's going to be 26 years that we've been celebrating November the 11th. Throughout World War I, World War II, and the ensuing wars where our members have enlisted, there's been 47 veterans to date that have enlisted in the various wars to ensure our continued democracy that we enjoy today. And with the 47 veterans, most of the World War I, World War II, and Korean veterans have passed away. In 1994, we also approached Chief and Council to see if we can put up a monument that was dedicated to the veterans from all of the wars. And we included a lot of our warriors that Maginaman has already mentioned in his presentation. We wanted to ensure that our people and our future generations understood the transition from the warriors to the ones that enlisted in the various wars. With the ones that had enlisted in the wars, my father, Mike Oka Sr., was one of the veterans that served in World War II. After 4 years, he was honorably discharged in 1946. My father passed away at the tender age of 48 years. However, we lived on as his children, and my late mother, to be able to appreciate and understand what he went through in the wars. As Maginaman has already stated, the veterans do not really talk about their horrific experiences during the wars. They suffered what is known today and referred to as PTSD. But at the time, we didn't know why they were the way that they were. They kept all of the hurt within themselves. And it was their children, such as my siblings, that lived through some of the traumas that they faced. With all of the widows, in 1994, the widows would get together. And we have to give special recognition to the founding members. We've grown to refer to them. And one of them was my late mother, who also passed away on November the 11th in 2013. It was a very special day for her. And with the assistance of the remaining veterans of World War II at that time, Ted Braverock, Steve Mistaken Chief, and some of the other widows, such as Vivienne Eagle Child and Christine Tallow and Ruth Quanell, they would all get together and they would offer a small lunch, inform people, invite people to come and celebrate that day in honor of the veterans. So in 1996, the ceremony grew from maybe 50 participants to approximately 300-400 participants. And it's important for us to continue to celebrate that day to honor our veterans. And I have to give credit to all of our schools on the Blood Reserve who give special recognition and appreciate the dedication of our young soldiers at that time. Most of the veterans had enlisted, whether they were 18, 20 years old, very young men, and then they came back to the reserve and they continued to contribute as meaningful members of our community. Some of them went on to serve on chief and council to continue to advocate for the rights of the blood reserve, and some of them continued to become successful business entrepreneurs. But with the horrors and the tragedies that they faced in the back of their minds when they served during World War II. So today is a very special day, but we had the opportunity to do a virtual presentation to continue to honor the veterans. And all we can say is thank you for your service. Thank you.
Special recognition of founding members by Dorothy First Rider, daughter of Mary Louise Oka, President, Kana War Veterans Committee. Mary Louise passed away on November 11th, 2013. Founding members, Kana War Veterans Committee. Since 1995, Mary Louise Oka, President. Founding members, World War II gunner Edward Brave Rock, Ed Chief Moon. Founding members, Bibian Eagle Child, World War II gunner Stephen Mistaken Chief. Founding members, Ruth Quennell McClanahan, Christine Tallow. Thanks to participants, Tribal Government Committee Council, Dorothy First Rider, Maria Russell, Travis Plaited Hair, Binaquium Tail Feathers. Thanks to participants, Elder Charlie Crow Chief, Veterans Family Representative Mike Oka Jr., drummers Wiley Weasel Moccasin, Jeremy Oka, Christopher Weasel Moccasin. Credits, Tribal Government Department, Annabelle Cropbeard Wolf Coordinator, Staff, Verdon Heinbull Morning Owl, Lorna Day Chief, Monica Blackwater, Lanny Wolfchild. Credits, Communications Department, Pam Blood Coordinator, Staff, Todd Eaglechild, Lenora Manyfingers, Beta Bastine. Presentation by Tribal Government and External Affairs Department, Verdon Heinbull Morning Owl, Mike Tailfeathers, Communications Department, Todd Eaglechild, Joey Sugai. Photo and additional contributions, RCL, Glenn Miller. Thank you to the veterans' families who have supported their veterans at services since 1995. Photos of past ceremonies to follow. In Flanders Fields, Blackfoot version by Dr. Lena Russell. Blackfoot translation honors Indigenous veterans. Blackfoot and English language posts are made available in collaboration with veteran Glenn Miller.